Hey Kingdom, there's almost 50 classes in Baldur's Gate 3. Still, when you start a new game, especially Honor mod, I bet that there's 2 classes that is always lost. So I decided to find out a way how to make them insanely broken and powerful. Try to guess what these 2 classes in the comments right now. And let's start. I will separate this guide into 3 parts. Basically Act 1, 2 and 3. We'll explain all leveling process you need, what gear to get and also where to get it, and essential tips on how to play these classes. And to make it faster and more entertaining, let's jump and start the game with Astarion. He will represent my first missing class that everyone is forgot about. And for second class we need the help of our fellow friend. So let's go and rescue her. And yeah, I'm talking about this lady in a cage. She will be our fellow Eldritch Knight. So Arcane Trickster and Eldritch Knight. Why no one plays them and how to actually utilize these 2 classes to become extremely powerful and useful party member in Baldur's Gate 3. Let's start with leveling, or even better, character creation. So, races and other stuff like this, like sub-races, won't really matter too much, and you can pick any race you like for both classes, because in Baldur's Gate 3 races is a little bit altered, so you don't need any race-specific armor and weapon proficiency to be good at these classes. And for Arcane Trickster, your starting class is a Rogue, of course. You can pick your background, it can be any background you need or you like, but Charlatan background that is starting background from Astarion is really nice, with Deception and Sleight of Hand proficiency. Abilities is important stuff, and that's where most problems come when you're trying to play Arcane Trickster or even Eldritch Knight. So main problem that these both classes is actually like martial classes that need to do some damage with their weapons. And it creates the problem of ability points. For example, when you're building just fighter rogue, for example, who will use a lot of melee weapons like daggers or maybe bows, you want high dexterity and also you want high constitution, just to be able to do some damage and also resist with high hit points. But when you're building Arcane Trickster, you need a little bit of intelligence at the same time, because intelligence will be your main spellcasting ability for Arcane Trickster and Eldritch Knight, and that's where the problems begins. So to be really efficient with your spells, you need high intelligence, but this will reduce efficiency of your attacks, because you won't be able to progress your dexterity when you continue building up your character. And there's some like workarounds on this problem, but still you need to consider that you're mostly martial class and you want to focus on your main damaging ability, like dexterity for Arcane Trickster. So we're definitely starting with 16 in dexterity. As for constitution, it's not so important, so we can leave it at 14, for example. And intelligence, we can keep it at something like 15 or even add +2 and get 17 in intelligence. So 17 will work if you're planning to give this character +1 bonus from our fellow boss from Act 1 that will really kindly give us her hair and +1 bonus to start. If there is no plans to do so, then keep intelligence at 16 and you will have 4 spare points that you can allocate into wisdom for saving throws, therefore basically make a really good character. For today's demonstration I will show maxed out intelligence with 10 wisdom, again to do not have any penalty for saving throws. What's up with Eldritch Knight? So it's completely the same idea. You want to pick only fighting style from the start of the game, and there's actually 2 good archetypes or even 3 archetypes of Eldritch Knight. It could be a great weapon fighting archetype that using big 2-handed weapon like Lae'zel right now, that's insanely good one. Or also defense fighting style is really cool if you're making like tanky front laner, you know, pretty cool and really effective fighter. So this Eldritch Knight will work too. But also there is cool archery build with Eldritch Knight. So if you really want to see archery Eldritch Knight, make sure to comment right now in the comment section of this video and I will make Eldritch Archer build very soon. But you know, Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster is not so popular, so I'm not making a lot of builds for them. Still, this build will be really good and really fine, and great weapon fighting is what we want to have. Background won't matter, your ability distribution is the same idea as for Trickster, Arcane Trickster, but instead of dexterity you want high strength. And that's another problem. Dexterity is a really cool attribute. It gives you initiative, armor class if wearing anything but not heavy armor, so light, medium armor, you will have more armor class by having more dexterity. And initiative affects how fast you act in a battle, and being first who acts is really a big deal. And as you can see, we got a lot more stats to work with. We want high strength, we want high intelligence at the same time to being able to cast spells with high chance. We want high constitution, and we want high dexterity and wisdom basically. But for Eldritch Knight, I would basically round up stats like this and make pretty balanced character. I think it's the best idea you can possibly do. So let's quickly talk about early levels and how you level up in Act 1. A rogue at level 2 will get ability to use bonus action to activate dash, hide, or disengage actions. It's pretty nice and useful stuff, especially for a rogue who is assassin or even thief, but for Arcane Trickster, it can be useful too. I will show you how to use it. Next, level 3. That's where you can pick your subclass, and we will be Arcane Trickster, of course. So, Arcane Trickster comes with ability to cast cantrips, spells, and also additional cantrip mage hand. As for cantrips, you want some damaging stuff like Ray of Frost, for example, especially for this build, Minor Illusion, for example. Then let's talk about spells. So we get a spell list that can be learned from Arcane Trickster himself. While Charm Person is really fun stuff, you can basically charm humanoid and prevent it from attacking you. Most of the time it's pretty useless because then this target will attack other targets. So you're just wasting a turn to possibly ask someone to attack anyone but not you. And you're kind of being fine if someone will try to attack you. You need to keep your position. I will show it in gameplay section, but that's basically useless stuff. Color Spray is almost the same as Sleep, just a little bit more powerful. It can blind creatures up to a combined number of hit points, but the problem, it will stay only for one turn to give disadvantage on attack rolls. So these creatures will still be able to basically attack you or anyone else. Just a useless spell for us, especially considering how fast you can progress through this game. Same as Sleep. You can put creatures into sleep for 2 turns, up to 24 hit points, and if you play on Honor mode on Tactician, it's basically useless ability. So you got basically 2 choices, Disguise Self and also Tasha's Hideous Laughter. If you don't want to use Disguise Self, then you possibly can use Sleep, just if you wish. And then you can have 1 spell from Wizard spell list. So which spell did you want to choose from? And in reality, I like to keep Magic Missile on my party. You will be able to do from 6 to 15 damage, but with 100% chance. And this means you can reliably finish some targets. That's why on level 3, just being able to cast Magic Missile is not a bad idea, and we definitely take it. And now level 4, where we get 1 more spell from Trickster Rogue, and we take in Sleep, because other choices is far worse than Sleep. And also now we can have a Feat. For Arcane Trickster, it's super straightforward stuff. We just want to have ability improvement and get more dexterity and intelligence. That's it. So if you're playing with him as more a caster class, then definitely go with +2 intelligence at level 4. If you're using Arcane Trickster more like a rogue that can debuff and control his enemies, then go with dexterity. So, Eldritch Knight, level 2. No options to choose from. Action Search, you can use extra action once per short rest. Very cool. Level 3. Again, now we can pick our subclass, and it will be Eldritch Knight. Same features as from Rogue, but now we get additional action. Weapon Bond. You can bind your weapon in your main hand. This weapon can't be knocked out of your hand. That's really useful stuff, and it will automatically return to you when thrown. This will unlock a little bit of utility for our class and flexibility, so that's nice ability. As for spells for Eldritch Knight, I would like to have Ray of Frost or Firebolt, something like a range cantrip that can do some damage, and Shocking Grasp, because we will be in melee range most of the time. Being able to cast Shocking Grasp from time to time against some enemies is really nice, because you will have advantage on attack rolls against creatures in metal armor. But also, if your party don't have Bone Chill, I actually recommend you having Bone Chill. It's pretty useful too, because it will stop enemies from regaining their hit points, so they can't heal basically. But Ray of Frost and Firebolt will work too. For spells, we can pick 2 spells from this list, and this list is awesome. And as a melee class that going in, I actually recommend just going with a shield spell. So this spell is insane because it will give you +5 armor class when someone tries to attack you, and you will do it with your reaction. So it's pretty nice and tanky spell for you. As for other spells, I would go with Witch Bolt. So the reasoning is simple. We will use shield only to prevent some damage from time to time, and this will be most and basically almost single-used spell for us. But if enemy get protection from our normal attacks, we will use Witch Bolt. So we get at least some source of damaging ability, and its concentration, so we can recast it every turn. That's very nice stuff. And we got 1 spell from expanded spell list. Here is your choice, and I would go with Magic Missile again, just to being able to finish targets from afar with 100% chance. And level 4, that's where we get 1 more spell from fighter spell list, and here I would go with Thunder Wave every time. It's just insane and coolest spell you possibly will have. Now ability improvement. We got pretty balanced stats, and we don't need a lot of stats actually. Instead, the thing we need is Great Weapon Master. It's very good stuff. It gives you penalty to attack rolls if it's turned on, but it will increase your damage like dramatically. +10 damage flat on your attacks. It's just must-have feat. Definitely take it if you're using two-handed weapon. So it's time to get up. Let's go, party. So how we play these guys in a battle? While Eldritch Knight is pretty straightforward class, you just need to know how and when to utilize his abilities. The Arcane Trickster is actually tricky, and you want to separate him as much as possible from the party. You want to keep him close, but not entirely in a combat. So make sure to ungroup Astarion or your Arcane Trickster from the party and stay in the shadows. Also, as Arcane Trickster, you want to utilize your Mage Hand. It will be available to you every short rest, and it's permanent, so it don't have any like turns or other stuff. It's basically unlimited Mage Hand. This Mage Hand can use hide action too, so it's pretty useful, and it can stay away from the fight. While Mage Hand doing 1 damage with an armed strike, so it's pretty useless, it can shove enemies. But most of the time you will use this little friend not for shoving enemies. Still, it can be used to shove someone in case they threatening your mages or even Astarion himself. So, Eldritch Knight, make sure to bond your weapon from the start of the fight. It's really important stuff. And you can just go in. And as you can see, when someone is trying to attack you, you can just use your shield as a reaction. Use 1 spell slot and enemy will miss you. That's insanely powerful and cool ability. As a rogue, just before the fight, drop something on the ground, like potions, maybe some grease bottles and other stuff. And now we can go and come in and start fighting. Arcane Trickster is still a rogue, so most of the time you want to just sneak nearby and use your sneak attack from the background. Therefore basically destroying your enemies pretty easily. And after destroying first enemy, for example, you can just utilize your movement speed in the battle to use maybe cunning action hide and then just run away from the battle. Just hide behind the corner or somewhere else. As Mage Hand, you can drag and drop bottles and other stuff, basically like this, even before entering the battle, and it uses no action, bonus action whatsoever, even in the combat. And this is basically how you will utilize your Mage Hand. You will use it as like mini mobile personal cleric. You just throw some bottles over here and then go, use throwing action and just throw your bottles to heal Lae'zel, for example, or other party members. So pretty easy healing action. Lae'zel is now full. We can drag and drop this grease bottle to enemies and use fly. It will use less movement speed, so we can fly for more distance. And as Eldritch Knight, just decide what you want to do. There's not a lot of options right now, but for example, someone is not at full health maybe. And don't forget to use your Great Weapon Master lean over here on the hotbar, so if your chances to hit is really low, it's like 35-40% to hit, it's not too good. so we can turn it off, and now it will be 60-65% chance to hit. But if we're fighting targets in like no or almost known armor, we can definitely turn it on, and with 55% chance or even 60% chance to hit, it's pretty good chance to hit. We just one-shot these targets. And coolest part, most of the time, again, in Baldur's Gate 3, you will have different chances to hit, and even 95% chance to hit means you can miss. And when you definitely want to destroy a target, that's where Magic Missile come. So Magic Missile, as Eldritch Knight, is really useful. You just cast your Magic Missile at targets, and they can fly around objects. You don't need clear line of sight, and basically destroy targets really easily with Magic Missile. Problem with Magic Missile, they won't trigger your Great Weapon Master, and even if it's turned off, destroy your targets and then get benefit of being able to attack with bonus action. And to really help these benefits, you can use your Arcane Trickster for additional and really powerful attacks. And why we really want to use this Cannon Action Height? Because it will give you advantage on most like attack rolls and other stuff. So for example, these two enemies standing right here, and our attack will hit 75% chance of the time. We can just use Cannon Action Height, and now it's 94%. Sadly for now it's not affecting our disabled spells like Sleep and Tasha Hydos Laughter, but you still can easily utilize your Sleep action to put enemies into sleep if you want to use some spell slots. And this will give advantage on attack rolls, or even 100% chance on attack rolls for someone like Eldritch Knight, and therefore Eldritch Knight will easily one-shot enemies like this with 32 damage on level 4, like easy, and then we can use bonus action Great Weapon Master Lean on another target. Tasha Hydos Laughter is really great disabled too. If you're successful, target will just lie on the floor, gives advantage on attack rolls, again pretty high chance to hit, so it's like completely free damage basically most of the time. And as for spells, as I told you, basically you want to use Thunder Wave from time to time, in case you can push enemies off cliff or into some difficult areas, maybe, you know, on ice terrain, on some sleepy, greasy terrain, and other stuff like this. And Mage Hand is just supportive character that throwing bottles left and right, creating greasy surface, and maybe even throwing some bombs on enemies. And considering you kinda mage, you want to utilize Arcane Trickster from range position, so most of the time you will be using just your bow to do some sneak attacks. And if you don't know, sneak attacks can be triggered automatically, or you can turn on Ask button over here, and they easily triggered when you have advantage on attack roll. But even if you don't have advantage on attack roll, you can shoot your arrow if anyone is nearby, and it will activate sneak attack too. So let's talk about essential gear in this location in Act number 1. The good part, there is not a lot of it, and you can easily get it almost from the start of this act. The first piece of gear will be in the hands of Aaron's trader in Druid Grove. Basically looking for this pretty basic ring. It's Ring of Flinching. So this Ring of Flinching will add a 1d4 to throwing damage. And right now we're not throwing anything, but we possibly will do it later. In the later stages of the game, basically. And this ring goes to Lae'zel, of course. She will be able to throw some stuff. This next Lae'zel weapon. Everburn Blade is just insanely good pick. You can get it really easily from Nautiloid Ship. Another weapon that is really easy to get is Hammer Haft. I will show you where to get it just in a second. But for now, let's talk about our rogue weapons. And it will be Assassin's Touch. Really good and pretty nice dagger. There won't be a better dagger in this game, because it's a +1 dagger, first of all, and it will do additional necrotic damage to creatures that is sleeping or knocked out. And considering we will put creatures into sleep from time to time, you know, it's pretty nice idea and the way to wake them up. So to get this dagger, you need to go into this location in Emerald Grove and find this goblin Saza. Step between the crossbow and the goblin, and then use a little bit of persuasion. If you're lucky, tieflings will go away and you need to talk with Saza and rescue her straight to the goblin camp. To do it, you need to open Iron Gate with your lockpick and then go straight over here. There's a cave right behind this prison, so go over there and you will find what to do. In the goblin camp, after successful quest, you will get this dagger. But it's not essential, just a good dagger you can get in Act 1. Another good items in Blighted Village. And that's the place where you can use another ability from your Arcane Trickster if you picked it, Disguise Self. So just disguise yourself as Drow. You will be able to go through these goblin patrols like extremely easy. Because as you see, goblins working for Drows here in this act, and you easily will go straight to the goblin camp without any problems anyway, for completely free experience at the same time. So another item you may probably look for right here, right outside of Blighted Village. Just go near this barn with strange sounds. Right inside this meat, there's dagger +1. Pretty good dagger, you can definitely take it. But you probably will use it only in Act number 1, because from Act number 2 you will switch mostly to range semi-supportive character anyway, so stress too much about melee weapons. As for gear, Spider Silk armor, you will find it anyway in this act, or just keep any light armor you will like. So basically armor won't matter too much for this build. So considering our high dexterity, we can use Infernal Robe, if you know how to get it. But this robe comes with a really high price. Why is it good? Because you will be able to cast Fire Shield Worm as level 4 spell right now, and for now, as you can see, our characters can cast only level 1 spells, so casting level 4 spell, and I don't know, it's looking cool, especially on Arcane Trickster, so I think it's a really cool robe. Another pieces of armor you possibly will like in this act is Graceful Claws for Steron, and you can buy it from Mountain Pass. It's easy to go there. And before going into Mountain Pass, make sure to go over here into Burning House. On the second room of this house, you will find a door with a lot of fire going in. And right behind this door, there is a chest. That's the chest with hammer halved inside. It's 2d6, so pretty nice damage, +3 bludgeoning damage. Really nice and powerful hammer. When you miss attack, you always will deal at least 3 additional damage based on your strength. And also you will be able to do shockwave when you jump. So this hammer is really nice and cool, because now you can turn on your shockwave, and basically when you jump you will deal additional damage on land. So now you can use your bonus action pretty easily, because jump is bonus action and you don't have a lot of bonus actions otherwise. And just to the left of Walking's Rest there's a pass over here, and right behind these gates you'll find another location. I call it Act 1.5, Gitianki Crochet, and that's where you can buy Graceful Claws from the trader on Mountain Pass. It will add dexterity up to 20, and now our dexterity will be 20 basically, if we got 18 dexterity right now at level 4, which is pretty good. And considering our extremely low dexterity from our Eldritch Knight, you want to have some heavy armor, and you want to use adamantine splint armor. I really recommend to craft this stuff. It will give you 18 armor flat, it will reduce all incoming damage by 2 if someone hits you, and enemies can't land a critical hit on you. That's really cool. So this armor will instantly increase your armor class, will make you insanely powerful, and with this setup and strategy you will easily be able to get to Act number 2. And that's where you will find loads of cool and special items to finally make these classes work. So, before we get them, let's level up. And you will see why this classes is so problematic unlike other classes. So level 5, all rogues will have this uncanny dodge that will halve the damage you take. It's pretty nice and significant buff that will basically increase our effective health points. At level 6, you can replace some spells. And that's a nice idea, to replace maybe sleep if you're not using it a lot. And you can replace spells to wizard spell list. And basically what you will like here, probably even shield spell again. So shield is really nice and powerful stuff. Another stuff that you can use is something like Fog Cloud. Basically to create some obscure areas that will be just bad areas for your enemies to go into. At level 7, we're getting one more spell from level 2. And also we can replace spell. So you can definitely replace Disguise Self from Act 2 pretty easily. And you can get more spells over here. What you want to have is some control spells basically. Whole Person is nice concentration spell, pretty powerful, so we can definitely replace Disguise Self right now. And we can pick one more spell, and now considering how you're using this class, because you can just use it as melee class, you can go with something like Blur in melee range, and maybe Mirror Image. But another cool stuff is Crown of Madness that will instill humanoid creatures to attack each other, basically. So pretty fun stuff. Being mad, they will attack anyone but not you. It's pretty fun spell. And level 8 is somewhere near the end of Act 2. Again, you will unlock some spells from level 2. And the good spells, again, is more spells right now. And good spells is Misty Step, just to be able to reposition yourself with bonus action into safer areas. Another cool stuff is Darkness. If you're playing with Darkness-based parties that can look into darkness, basically it can be a nice addition too. And also we have additional feat right now. Again, it will be probably just +2 into dexterity because we want to hit with our attacks, and I will explain why just in a second. Or you can go in intelligence road pretty easily and max out intelligence right now at 20 with +1 bonus. For Eldritch Knight, again, it's pretty easy leveling. Level 5 unlocks extra attack as any other fighter. Level 6 will give you feat as any other fighter, and that's extremely good because Eldritch Knight, again, lacking a lot of abilities, so you can have more strength. I would instantly go for strength every time just to being able to have more chances to hit. Level 7 unlocks more spells, and here you can go with Shatter, pretty strong thunder spell. If you can see in the darkness there's rings and other stuff, you can go with darkness, but otherwise just go with something like Scorching Ray. And then on level 8, expanded spell list, a lot more spells, so now you can have Misty Step. Again, it's a nice reposition tool. And also, now you can learn Mirror Image. So I will switch Scorching Ray for Mirror Image right now. And Mirror Image basically will just add armor class for you for 10 turns, and when someone misses you, it will decrease this armor class, but basically it makes you unhittable. Also at level 8 you get additional feat, and now we're finally maxing out our strength, so now we finally being able to hit someone. Because just look how extremely powerful these characters can be in Act 2. First of all, chance to hit is drastically increased. Now even surrounded by a lot of guys while in trouble, Lae'zel won't feel a lot of pressure, because she can just pop Mirror Image and have insanely high armor class even without a shield. Just look at this, 23 armor class, completely free, without any additional armor. And if you wonder why so low, because right now I'm under debuff. This spider is just lowering my armor. But when you're Eldritch Knight in a big trouble, you can basically just use Misty Step and run away a little bit, stay in a better position. Or maybe push everyone away with Thunder Wave. Again, pretty nice and useful stuff. But don't forget, we got Arcane Trickster. And what's here right now? Now our chance to hit disable spells is just insane, 95%. Jeez, bro, you're done. And as you can see, we're not even in a fight right now, so we can stay outside of the fight with 100% chance of hitting the spells and basically destroy these guys with Lae'zel pretty easy and straightforward. Jeez, that damage is just insane. We easily can one-shot almost everyone. And also she will have 2 attacks right now with 1 action. And also we can use Action Search. If you're playing on Tactician, it's 4 attacks. And 5th attack will be Great Weapon Master in. Don't forget just to use spells in case you need some additional damage, or maybe damage of some type. Shatter is still very nice pick. But that's insanely cool way how you can utilize Arcane Trickster, basically standing outside of the fight in turn-based mode and just land your spells on any enemy you wish. So 100% chance on you. Pretty easy, and we are not even in a fight yet. That's insane way how to use Arcane Trickster. Jeez. Again, you mostly know like almost all spells over here. Maybe Fog, so a Fog. And be careful, Fog will land you in the fight. And coolest part about Fog, it will create a really hard terrain for your opponents, but you will have really nice chance to hit with your attacks. And as you can see, we're doing a lot of damage right now, even with our Arcane Trickster. So damage is really good right now. Just look at this, it's insane. And also our sneak attack will be force damage right now. Force damage is the least resisted damage in the game, so it's insanely powerful sneak attack. Still most fun stuff is that you can basically destroy your enemies and put them into any control spell like Hyda's Laughter, maybe Crown of Madness with 100% chance. That's just insanely powerful stuff. And that's what actually makes this build pretty funny and probably insane. Basically, you can, even without starting a fight, inflict madness on your target. So as you can see, we are outside of the fight right now. This enemy is even neutral, but I can make him mad. And while he's mad, he will start turn-based fight with the spider, and spider will destroy him. So we can do like all this stuff without even fighting and make enemies destroy each other. It's insanely fun way to play. And this spiders actually forgot that we were fighting. And basically your biggest problem will be spell slots, because cool spells like Crown of Madness uses level 2 spell slots, and we are limited only to 2 spell slots right now. So it's like biggest problem right now. To be able to do this sneak attacks with force damage, it needs some gear. And honestly, it's insanely easy to get. So what we are looking for here, we are looking for Last Light in this place. You will easily find it in Act 2, and then you will go in this place. So to get one of the most important items, you need to side with tieflings in Act 1 and really save them. You will find Daemon here, and you will need to give him Infernal Iron. For Infernal Iron, for 3 pieces, he will give you gloves like this basically, and they will deal additional 1d4 damage on your weapon attacks. So we got 1d4 fire damage. Now we need our weapons, and these weapons will be Near Misser and Hellfire Hand Crossbow. But honestly, it can be any hand crossbow, so you dual wield them. Now you get an option. Do you want to make like single attack or 2 attacks? So you can use your action, bonus action to make attacks. Because a rogue don't have additional attack with action, so he can do only 1 attack with 1 action. And if you're not using your hiding action, bonus action every turn, basically you don't have any other usage for your bonus attack. Now another insanely powerful stuff, and it's right here in the cow. So just destroy this cow and you will find this head. So this head is insanely powerful. Whenever you deal fire damage, you gain Arcane Acuity. Arcane Acuity will give you +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell difficulty class. And that's the secret how we're getting these insane chances on our control spells. So basically, in combination with these gloves, every hit with our hand crossbows will be fire damage. Whenever we deal fire damage, we increasing chances of succeeding with our spells. And as you can see right now, I got 2 stacks left, so I just attack this box over here. And considering I'm doing any fire damage, it will add 2 stacks for each attack. So it's pretty easy way to just get loads of stacks, like pretty easy and like insanely fast. So as you can see, even before the battle, you can attack these boxes and other boring stuff. And it's really easy, get 9 stacks. Inside the inn itself, there's another really important item that you can utilize for this build if other party members don't need them. So just go to the right door in the back of the inn, and right beneath this bed over here, perception check successful, there will be Snowburst Ring. So how to use it? So to utilize this ring, you actually want to have your crossbow on the ground, and then get your main hand weapon, Drake Throat Glaive in your main hand, and then cast Draconic Elemental Weapon spell called on your Near Misser. So this way your Near Misser will have basically +1 to hit, but most importantly it will do cold damage. So now, whenever you deal damage with your crossbow, most importantly from your offhand crossbow, basically you're creating a circle of ice beneath the target, and target will have a lot more harder times to stand still. So it's a really high chance just to make enemies prone, and you will have advantage, and your allies will have advantage in attack rolls against them. But to get the stuff, we need to go into another place in the Act 2. Honorable mentions over here is Evasive Shoes. Just look right here in the Last Light Inn from traders. You can really, while you're getting here, probably you already found Necklace of Elemental Augmentation. So when one of your cantrips dealing acid, cold, fire, lightning damage, you can add this spellcasting modifier to the damage dealt. So you can have it on Mysterion or on Eldritch Knight. It doesn't matter, like these rings will work for boost classes. Also, Amulet of Harpers, pretty nice for like completely free shield spell without consuming spell slot, once per short rest, per long rest, sorry. So it's not super overpowered, but still really useful. And another useful stuff is Ring of Arcane Synergy. You will find it in Githyanki Kersheh when you destroy everyone there. When you deal damage with a cantrip, you gain Arcane Synergy for 2 turns. And weapon attacks will deal additional damage equal to affected entity spellcasting ability modifier. Basically, when you're doing any damage with your cantrip, so you got a bunch of cantrips, for a few turns you will do additional damage with your weapon. And right now we get insane weapon, Halberd of Vigilance, plus 1d4 force damage on hit, level 7 or so, because you unlocked War Magic over here. So now we are able to do a cantrip and use our weapon to do bonus action attack. And that's how it looks like. Enemy in metal armor, for example. So your normal attacks will probably miss. Why not to use Shocking Grasp? It will do 2d8 lightning damage with advantage, so pretty high chance to hit. And you just hitting with this cantrip. Now you're able to attack with your bonus action. So now you, after cantrip, attacking another creature with your bonus action and probably destroying him. You know why? Because now we also add in plus our strength modifier, plus our intelligence modifier from Arcane Synergy to our weapon attacks. It's pretty fun and nice buff for your damaging abilities basically. And Arcane Trickster at the same time, just doing insane amount of damage, always with crazy fire, additional damage. Therefore this ice stuff will make enemies prone, as I told you. And chances to hit our control spells is just insane. It's around 80% now with full stacks. With 10 stacks of Arcane Equity, it's a lot more easier. You see, we got 90% chance to hit with our spells. So we can control battlefield pretty fun and really reliable way. While our fighter just going and hammering with these crazy critical hits. Oh jeez. And at the same time, our fighter is getting Arcane Equity stacks too, so it's a lot harder to resist spells. And we will most of the time do loads of damage. So just Witch Bolt that will do 2d12 lightning damage will almost always hit, and we can recast it with action each turn basically. So it's pretty fun way to utilize and use some of our weapons and armors. But also there's another fun way to play. You can use something like Lightning Jabber. That's insanely fun weapon. As you can see, it's like crab claw. And now you can basically throw this jabber to where you like, and this will get back to your hand thanks to our Eldritch Knight ability Weapon Bond. So just bond with your weapon and you can really, funnily enough, throw this jabber to whatever target you like. So traders we're looking for is Lantarf inside of Moonrise Towers. He is selling this Halberd of Vigilance, just insanely powerful halberd. If you want to be able to throw some weapons, and that's why we using Ring of Flinching, just to be able to throw some weapons sometime. But to use it, you need weapons with thrown proficiency, with thrown label over here basically. And mostly it will be some spears and other stuff. So you're looking for thrown weapon, but this weapon can be wielded in one hand. So you can get something like Sentinel Shield for +3 bonus to initiative. It's a very powerful shield for this combination because we get low dexterity, and it's nice to have high initiative when we get low dexterity. So we are fighting at least in the middle of the pack, not last. And Raw Moonglow over here to the right side. She is selling this near misser, insane hand crossbow, and also this Drake Throat Glaive for enchanting and buffing your weapons. Another trader, just 180 degrees from Roman Glow, or if you're watching on the main entrance to the left side, go right to this door, to the right one, and here is another trader, just talk with her a little bit. Arash Oblodra. There's Risky Ring, you gain advantage on attack rolls and disadvantage on saving throws. It can be used on Astarion. You know, when you're standing from the range position, you will have no basically ability to use bonus action to hide, so instead of hiding, you can attack with your crossbows with advantage, and therefore you will trigger sneak attacks. So another good weapon that you can get from this act is Sylun Spear of Night, or another Sylun Spear. It's +3 weapon, insanely powerful. And yeah, it's thrown weapon, so it's powerful and you can throw it. So having ability to throw is pretty fun and really useful in ways like this. Maybe you attack one target, and for example, your attack is Critical Strike. This Critical Strike will activate our ability to use bonus action. And now with bonus action, we can make normal attack. But before taking distance with another target and trying to use your bonus action, you can just throw your weapon at another target with your action, do some damage, and then go back and do bonus action to another target, something like this. So let's just shatter this eye and go straight to Act number 3. And in Act 3, just let's level up our characters. So, Eldritch Knight. You can get any cantrips you like, mostly damaging cantrips, you know. These cantrips will do nice damage in Act 3. You will be doing 3d10 damage with just Firebolt, so it's pretty good one. And reliable choice to make some range damage maybe, and then use your bonus action to attack with your weapon. Also spells. Mostly you don't need a lot of the spells. Again, darkness is a nice choice if you got a ring that gives you ability to see in the darkness. But the stuff that we actually want to do right now is to replace some spells. So probably we won't ever use Witch Bolt from now on, because even our cantrips doing more damage than level 1 spells right now, so there's no real reason to do any level 1 spells most of the time if they got no additional benefits. But what we can use Hold Person and Crown of Madness. So basically same spells as used by our Arcane Trickster. And you can do it from level 9, from level 10, because when you change in spells, it will give you more choices of spells, basically. So you want to pick spells over here, like any spells you wish, and then change spells that you don't need for better spells from level 2. That's how it works, to utilize and make these classes more powerful and basically stronger. And why we want these control spells right now? Basically, there's a really big reason. Also, Blur is a nice spell to pick, just to have disadvantage on the rolls against you. So we are insanely strong tank, for example. But let's pick Hold Person for now, level 10. So Shatter, we don't need Shatter. Instead, we will take Blur. And again, spells is just useless. So spells you pick as useless, but spells you replace is just insanely powerful. You see, we get a large variety of picks. That's how it works, basically. And on level 12 we get one additional feat, so for our feat again we can just go with +2 into intelligence for more highest chance to hit with our spells. Now it's time for Astarion. Basically level 9 we get this magical ambush. While we are hidden, targets have disadvantage on saving throws against our spells. That's how it works, and disadvantage basically gives you ability to have almost 100% chance to hit with your spells, even if your chances is not 100 right now. So as you can see, enemies will need to roll 2 dice to negate your spells. And same rules works for our awesome rogue, of course. We get more cantrips. We don't care about cantrips for Arcane Trickster. Mostly we're looking for cool spells. So again, Mirror Image, Phantasmal Force is nice stuff too. We get additional feats, and again, it will be just Dexterity +2. That's most important feat for us, just being able to reliably hit our targets. If you wish more damage from your bow attacks, go with Sharpshooter. But for this build, for Arcane Trickster, I don't like him as damage dealer, it's mixed character. You need to do both. You need to disable targets and also do damage at the same time. And as you can see, as a rogue, we can't replace our spells, so you need to be more specific and learn exactly spells you need. You can replace spell at level 12. So at level 12, you can actually remove something that you're never using. Maybe you're not using Tasha's Hide of Laughter, for example. You can replace it for other spells from level 2. But we got most of the spells we'll need, so you don't need a lot of other spells actually. You can keep this stuff. And one more ability improvement, again, just pick whatever you like, and stuff like Alert can work, so you just get more initiative, and that's it. 4 items in Act 3. Builds are ready. And you can finish games with this build, basically. You can just easily finish the game. Let me show you the final version of these guys and how powerful they are. Most powerful part about our awesome and insanely powerful Eldritch Knight is actually the ability that's called Eldritch Strike. When you hit a creature with a weapon, it has disadvantage on its next saving throw against the spell you cast before the end of your next turn. So basically you start a fight like this. You just go and attack your targets. That's it. Now look, we get 75% chance to hit with our control spell. But if I use Cunning Action Hide and consume my bonus action, magical ambush here going on, and all spells is highlighted that will be affected by magical ambush. And right now, without any stacks, I can have 94% chance to hit my control spells. And now, just look, we're using Phantasmal Force, Psychic. Now this entity will take psychic damage every turn, and she get ability to destroy this Phantasmal Force actually, by succeeding on intelligence saving throw. But when I just attack and also do some lightning damage, fire damage, sorry, I'm gaining these arcane acuity stacks, and on the next turn she will take fire damage, and probably she will add more arcane acuity stacks to me. Right now I got 8 stacks, so Lae'zel is being attacked, we can just pop shield spell and completely ignore every attack that will be done to us. And as you can see, 6 fire damage on the start of her turn from Phantasmal Force. And yeah, we get 10 stacks of Arcane Acuity. And hardest part from Eldritch Knight actually is to decide what you want to do in these later stages of the game. So the biggest problem is actually pretty simple. As Eldritch Knight, from level 11 you will get improved extra attack, so you are able to do 3 attacks in one turn. Each attack can do from 18 to 28 damage with Great Weapon Master All-in, and from 8 to 18 without. So we can do up to 60 damage with pretty basic attacks, in like 3 attacks with 1 action. Instead I can use my cantrip that will do only up to 24 damage. So what's the reason to use this cantrip actually? First of all, it's doing pretty nice damage if it's crits, and there's a bunch of usages of this ability basically. So for us right now, it's basically ability to go away from this enemy without provoking opportunity attack, because this cantrip, when it hits, basically it will make enemy unavailable to do any opportunity attacks. And after hitting with our cantrip, we can use our weapon attack from our action, bonus action. So this will inflict some damage to our enemy. And now each attack that we're doing with our weapon will stack Arcane Acuity stacks. So that's our next turn basically. As Arcane Trickster with max stacks, we'll try to disable targets as much as possible. So disabling targets is really easy, and now with bonus actions, we're just inflicting some damage every here and there, and some damage, really some damage. While Eldritch Knight on the next turn will be able to do 4 attacks basically, because probably we will kill 1 person, so we will be able to use bonus action from Great Weapon Master All-in, and 2 more attacks, basically 3 attacks from our action with improved extra attack. What does it mean? First of all, that if we are frightened, we can throw our weapon completely free and it will come back to our hands. But also every time we hit our target with our weapon attack, we'll stack Arcane Acuity stacks for us. And now basically in 2 turns we can max out the stacks easily as Lae'zel or as your Eldritch Knight. So on the 3rd turn we get Lae'zel, who can do stuff like Hold Person with 100% chance to hit. 100% chance to hit. That's just insane. And like this, we're basically disabling every target we like. So look, this target, hold percent, this target, hold percent. Like pretty fun and reliable strategy just to disable targets from turn 3 basically. And now we can use basically our crossbows from the melee range to do critical strikes with sneak attacks, and damage is just insane. Damage is just crazy. So how is it possible for these guys with red eyes? The secret actually is one more secret, secret items that you can get from Act number 2. So before going into Act 3, don't forget to get this awesome and pretty broken Helmet of Arcane Acuity from Act 2. So you will find this house, Wraithwind Mason Guild, in Act 2. You need to go inside and basically find a way how to go into secret chamber. There will be a door over here, ornate wooden hatch. Then go over here and find a secret door. You will need a key or you will need a lockpick. Either way, I don't want to spoil you too much. It will be a fun place to go and find this awesome head for Lae'zel. And what we got here in the end, 2 forgotten classes that's basically not looking too strong on first round of the game, but on second round they get a large amount of power. and on third round they are just unbeatable. Pretty fun to play, really unique stuff if you're looking for something to like spice up your playthrough, not with like OP classes, but with fun and really classes that you need to think when you play them. But if you want some OP stuff, just watch videos on the screen right now. It's like most OP builds you can find on YouTube right now. And see you in the next videos.